Finally, after several years, we finally get big retail Dinobots. I can't believe we have Grimlock, Slug, and Sludge together, and they are bigger than Optimus Prime, appropriately, for once. I'm happy. Now run that intro that I don't use anymore.
T-Man 978 Chill Review.
Alright, I don't know how I'm editing this, but if you hear a loud it's because I have the AC unit on in the same room with me. But here is the packaging for Transformers Studio Series 86, number 15, Dinobot Sludge. Here he is with the Sharkticons all over the place. Yada yada, yada yada. I'm gonna show y'all all this, but let me do this. I don't do this anymore. I said I wouldn't, but I'll just do it here because all this is going in the trash. Here is the backdrop, which is like the quintesson judgment chamber or whatever it's called. I'll look in the box and tell you what it is. But here he is in front of that, barely able to fit on there because he has bunch of back kibble. Yeah, mockery of justice is what it's called. Now, I don't want to shit all over these backdrops. If somebody actually displays their figures with this, that's great. I just don't have the room to keep all this packaging. I collect too much stuff for myself personally. But yeah, if somebody only wants the Dinobots, I could see how this could work out. But I collect everything. Certain things like this seems to be great if you only want that one character. This is magnificent. But once you start getting a whole collection, it's like, yeah, what am I going to do with all this? Sludge, like I said earlier, this is kind of like a dream come true, to be honest with you. We never got an official masterpiece version of this guy. We had several third party, and let me try to make sure he's all the way in camera at all times. But officially, as far as Hasbro and Takara tell me, we haven't gotten all of the original 3 Dinobots in this scale right here. So this is really cool. Typically they would be deluxes or some other thing, or they would be so far removed from the original G1 aesthetic, and this is basically what myself and several other people have been wanting. Like, even the people who want the G1 aesthetic but they want that extra techie detail, it's there. It's not just straight up clean. So man, the people who are dissatisfied with the new masterpiece aesthetic where they're going super cartoony, y'all need to just collect the mainline. The people that make the masterpiece are now working on the main line, from what I'm hearing, and this definitely has a masterpiece style transformation. It just doesn't have all of the engineering that you would get. Like, it doesn't have fingers that open up, but here's what it does have. It has a face that looks like this right here. When you rotate the head, it looks like that. There is one screw, so there's that. It's not completely filled in like Leader Class Blitzwing. And the head is on a ball joint. You get some turn, you get a little bit of wiggle, not a lot. But you can use this hinge to make him look up. Normally when a platform or whatever lifts up with the neck, it bugs me, but for whatever reason with this figure, it does not. Like, it kind of seems like it just stays right there. Like, that is purposeful, and I like it. The arms go out to the side this much. They rotate all the way around with a soft ratchety action, bumping into that. You get a super tight bicep swivel. It actually has double jointed elbows, bruh. Double jointed elbows. That I don't know why I'm excited about that, but yes, back in the day they would not they would have just intentionally not even tried. But there you go, double jointed elbows. You get a wrist rotation. The wrist kind of can hinge in due to the transformation, but that's that. You get a waist rotation. You get hips that ratchet forward. They ratchet back. And like I keep saying, I love this type of crotch design. They started this, or not started it. The Masterpiece Grimlock had a design like this. And I don't know why they didn't just keep doing that for a ton of other figures moving forward. The legs move all the way out to the side. Here on my copy, when you get to about here, on both legs, that's when it gets a little bit loose. But I can still get them to stand. And it has these soft ratchets in the knee that makes them bend 90 degrees. Yes, thigh rotation, I didn't show that. Let me do both knees. Now, wait, let me finish the articulation before I get into it. He has ankle pivot that does this. I mean, you can kind of like dislocate the toe and get the toe moving up and moving back, but I don't know if that can really work as articulation per se so much. But yeah, now here's what I was about to get into. A lot of people, and I've seen it, they take their figure out the box, do this, and the legs are like boop, 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 boop. There's no friction because the little ratchet joint thing that catches in the knee is like warped, so it has to be reshaped. And Larkin's Lair did a video recently where he shows how to fix joints like that. He did it on the hips of his Grimlock, I believe, and it has the same type of joint in the knee because he showed me the pictures in a group chat that we're in. But I have a theory. This is a question: if your figure is like loose and limp like that, do you live in an extremely hot area? Because that piece of plastic is like very thin, and plastic warms up and bends. You've seen my McFarlane Toys videos where the weapons bend all over the place, and it's aggravating. That's my theory on that. He does come with this BFG right here, very reminiscent of like the G1 toy style, and I like it. I like that they actually painted this. It actually looks, the way they designed this, it actually looks like it would actually fire a missile if need be. And I think that's a 5mm port. If it is, let's see. Yes, it's a 5mm port, so you can use War for Cybertron blast effects on it. So do with that as you see fit. Since I have this guy right here at the ready, here is Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class drag strip. That's how tall he is next to a modern day Deluxe right now. Here he is next to a tall Voyager and a leader class. He's a leader class and he's significantly taller. But here's what I can tell you about all the Dinobots. They feel a lot more hollow than like the smaller leader class. The smaller leader class figures are basically all the way filled in for the most part, and their plastic feels heavier. The bigger they get, the thinner the plastic gets, because it seems like they use the same amount of plastic, they just make them bigger. Here's Upgrade Kit Ultra Magnus from Earthrise and Masterpiece G Shoki, since I still have that. Here are these guys right here, Commander Class Skylinks. And here's a Gigapower Masterpiece scale Dinobot for the people that don't know how big Masterpiece should be. Thank you, G Tony. G Tony graciously gifted this to me. One day I'll review it. One day. Alright, one more leader class comparison. But yeah. I like Sludge's robot mode. I like that it has double jointed elbows. I like that it has ankle pivot. I like that it can actually look up due to that panel right there. I like that he has wrist swivel. The knees bend 90 degrees and he can do all this and whatnot and get into a basic pose. The gun is great. I don't know. The only thing being greedy that I would have wanted, I would have liked hands that can open up like that. That would have been cool. He does, I'm gonna be honest with you, have some hollowness. Like I said, he's a bigger figure. With these bigger figures, they're gonna use less plastic. He has hollowness, and my knees are good on my figure, so I can't complain about that. But these pieces right here feel hella flimsy. Like when you have it plugged in, they do not move out of the way. So there is not a lot of clearance right there for the arm. So you got to worry about that. And they're not pinned on, so you could end up detaching it, which is a bit frustrating. But even though my knees aren't particularly, and hips aren't particularly loose, they aren't the tightest either. So yeah, I want to put that out there. So you may get a really, really good figure where everything is tight, and when you do this, you hear cack, 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 cack. I've seen videos of that. Or you're going to be flippity floppity out of the box. And I have a feeling, like I said, it's depending on where you live. But I like them. Now let me transform this guy again off camera and back and try to be as good as possible during this transformation. I've only transformed it once without the instructions. Speaking of that, I completely forgot. The head is not attached to the body in the packaging. But it'll be in a position like this. Basically, that black piece needs to go into here with the head pointed down like that. You see this orientation? That's how it needs to go. Do not have it flipped the other way. It's not supposed to do that. Transformation. I already took the gun out the hand. You see it. Basically, we need to rotate the hand 180 and push it in there. Rotate it, push it in there. Then with the arms outstretched, we need to rotate the bicep. Rotate the bicep and kind of bend it like this, but don't worry about it too much. Now we can kind of dislodge this or move that out the way so we can get these out of the way and rotate the waist around. All right. Now we can take the feet, dislodge them, they're pegged right there, and put it like this. It doesn't securely tab into anything, they just are relying on friction. And now, what can we do? We can move this away from there. It's kind of pegged in right here. Actually, before we do that, open this up. Now dislodge that, dislodge this, and we can bring these out. Bring that out. And here's a little bit of a tough part. You kind of gotta dislocate the legs, and you need to aim like this part. Actually, I'm doing that backward, aren't I? I'm not doing that backward. You gotta aim this part like that. And now we can rotate the legs. Make sure the legs are in this position once you rotate them at the knees. Basically disconnect this because they're getting in the way, but yeah, now we can lift the chest up. It like separates right here. Get that up, push the head in, rotate on this, and this feels significant. It doesn't feel like thin or whatever. And now with this like that, we can bring this part. We're gonna have to bring the chest down. And I'm making this look so confusing, aren't I? Oh boy. Bring the chest down. This should be pegged together. And now, what's going to be hard for me to show there's a peg right here in the bottom back of the feet that needs to go into the back of the torso. If you have the legs bent correctly, you can. I just kept wiggling until I got the legs into their shape, and now I can make that match up with this. Trust me, when you're doing it, you're gonna have the same issue as me. You're not perfect. Bring the tail down like this. There we go. You could get the legs kind of out of the way. Bring this up. Get these out of the way so we can rotate the arm toward the four legs forward. Get them like that. And now we can bring this down and kind of groove this into this cavity right there. Same deal on this side. Groove it. And then they have like some connector points right here. And I'm having trouble getting that to stay, but whatever. Move the legs again, bring them down. It's like the slightest pinch, and this comes separated. But I guess this part right here, is what's going to stop that from happening. Hopefully, we need to unfold this on both sides. Lift this up, and they tab together. Now these things right here need to clip under here, and there's a little peg behind that. Get that to peg down, and then this should stay on top of the two little, I don't want to call them clips or pegs, they're just two little peg shaped things. They don't really peg into anything. Now we can lift the neck up, have the head like this, and bring these legs back, and he is a dinosaur. He is, I don't know what kind of dinosaur. Back in the day it was a brontosaurus, but here's what this is looking like. Yeah, the face looks like that. They kind of gave him irises. I don't think I ever noticed that, but there's that. Let's get into his articulation. The head can look up, it can look down, the mouth can open, and it does have a port right there so you can put blast effects on there if you want them shooting fire. The neck can look down, but it looks kind of weird. It can look up. The forelimbs can swivel that far. You can swivel right here, and the toe hinges up and down. This leg can do this, go out. Basically can do everything the arm can do, but if you want to keep this dinosaur shape, this is how it should be. No toe articulation. You can have it bent like this if you want, but it breaks the sculpt. And basically that's it. Down here it looks like that. Now my friend Matt Partsformer, he was saying that they could have made another, molded this different. They could have made another hinge so that the toes could rock forward and fit into that cavity. And I'm like, you know what? That is actually accurate. The gun has these two pegs on it right here. And there are two peg holes right here. I don't know if I'm putting this in right. Yeah, there we go. You put it with the handle down, and that fits in there. It doesn't cover anything. It's still a bunch of empty space. And there is an upgrade kit. Now he is mostly good, but here's what I'm having a problem with. These tabs don't like to stay together. The tabs and this tail don't want to stay together, and this connection right here is not the strongest. So yeah, if you were a kid fiddling with this it would be aggravating. Now I know these are designed for, this movie is like how many years old? Like 40 years almost at this point. So these are geared towards us old people. But if somebody were to buy this for their kid, I'm telling you right now, in a dinosaur mode, it's going to be frustrating because of stuff like that. If they have a copy like mine, your copy might be perfect. So I'm going to just put that out there. Your copy may be perfect, but mine is doing this. Now, unfortunately for myself, I got to transform the other ones and come back. Oh boy, here are these guys. I was watching Patriot Prime's live stream in between me while I was transforming this. Happy birthday, Patriot Prime. He is old AF. I'm like 5 years younger than him, so I'm pretty old too. But here these guys go. I'll start stacking them on top of each other and whatnot. Of course, Sludge is the longest. Slug is the shortest. And Grimlock stands over everybody. Let's put them like this. Have this kind of comparison. So Sludge still is longer, but there you are. The one that was the most fun transforming into a dinosaur was Slug. It feels so weird saying Grimlock, Slug, and Sludge, because that's so close together. I'm shocked that they went with that name, but whatever. There's that. Here he is next to Commander Class Skylynx. Here's this. I don't know if it makes sense for me to compare him to any type of vehicle mode. There you are with that. Remember when these two were tasked with getting the Dinobots into the shuttle? Alright, it's definitely cool to finally have these three in a bigger, appropriate size, like I said. As far as dinosaur mode, I never expect a ton out of anybody except Grimlock and Swoop. Those are the main two I expect to have a bunch of articulation, because he has actual functioning arms and Swoop has the wings and whatnot. So we'll see how Swoop is going to be. Swoop is probably going to be the best. He's probably going to have the best plastic because he's smaller or skinnier than everybody else. But I already said my nitpicks or my issues with this guy. If it didn't have those issues, I'd be totally cool with anything else that it can do, because I never really expect these dinosaurs to do much, to be honest. So it's cool. But yeah, I like them and I'm happy with my purchase. I would probably not be happy if I had the floppy knees like everybody else, but there are things you can do to fix it. And now that we got all that done and said, reverse transformation, we're going to pull this gun off the belly and start up here. Like, mostly just, you got to get that untabbed and get that open. You can go ahead and shut this and attach this and bring this out here, bring that out there. These tails can come there like that. Now this started untransforming itself, unfortunately, but we can move that and get that up. Basically just get that out of the way for now. These can rotate like this and rotate that like that, so that we can kind of get these back into the position they're going to be in. We can go ahead and detach this. Just leave it dangling for now. Raise the head, because now we can get these arms up like this, lift that up, rotate this, and cover that back up. I'm going to leave things like that for now. We can go ahead and bring that down, but at this point we're going to have to separate the legs so that these can slot back to where they need to slot. Peg that into place, peg that into place, And now we can rotate the waist before we forget that. With the tail pieces down, we can go ahead and bring this down like that and rotate this. Bring this down and get that into place. We can shut the tails on the side of the legs and open up the feet. And they kind of like lightly peg into this. This scares me because that doesn't tab in as well as I would like. Now we can get the arms down or get them forward like this. Bring these feet down and basically bring this down like that. Tab these back into place on the side of his body. Rotate the arm this way, rotate the arm that way, and basically grab here so we can get the hand out, flip them, get the hand out, flip them, and yeah. Going back to robot mode is typically always easier with every single figure, and you can figure that out yourself, but some people need extra help, so here I am with all my retail Transformers. I will be doing 2 transformations unless the figure is like crazy hard, like Revenge of the Fallen Leader class Optimus Prime or something. But I said what I said. I got this off Amazon. I'm going to put a link in the description where you can get it on Amazon, my personalized link. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Please. Until next time, T-Man978 out of here.
Figure action.
That one's me. Join the Syndicate Toy Hunters Facebook group. Link in the description. Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click the videos.